Faye. Thank you for having me here. My name is Marie. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Graffiti. And I would say that every once in a while, a revolutionary technology comes along that changes everything. That could, augmented reality is one of them, and it's making it possible to design and create solutions to enrich people's life in a way that we've never seen before. And today, it's actually about one of the most significant challenges we have to face on our way to a sustainable future. It's about consumption. What I want to talk to you is that 80% of the consumers are aware of the way we consume, and they are aware of its impact. But when they are in store, only 30% of them wants to make an effort to seek for information to change it, to change the impact. So that is exactly why we created Graffiti. We created Graffiti because when you are online, actually you can access any information you want. But when you are offline, when you are in store, it is much more challenging. So what is Graffiti? Graffiti is a new way to access information, to make a responsible and informed decision without effort. So I guess you want to know how it works. Let's say that you are looking for a shampoo. Most of the time you are in the aisle and you are looking at the ingredients, or you are looking online, you want to search for information. But with Graffiti, it's really easy. You just have to scan one QR code in the app, just one QR code. You have no app to install, you have no fancy hardware. Just one QR code, and it is our solution is running on your device. So now let's see what we can do. You are in the aisle and you are looking at the product with your smartphone. It's very easy. We have first the super helpful features, which can allows you to access information just by pointing your phone, press the red dot, and you have any info, reviews and deals, and so on. So this is our first feature. Our second feature is what we call augmented reality filters. If you want to compare products, manually you will stand in the aisle for a while. But thanks to Graffiti, it is really easy. You just have to select the filters on your screen, and then to point again your smartphone to the shelves, and you will see, thanks to a green dot, every product will perfectly match your expectations. So our strategy is really easy. We want to, oh, sorry, there is a video here. Another video. Yes, perfect. Our strategy is to address industry by industry, starting with cosmetics and then with electronics. We are currently working with T-Mobile, with Deutsche Telekom, to equip their stores, to help their customers to choose their accessories, just like that. So we have the QR code, you can scan the QR code, and then the solution is running on your device. So you can, like I said, access information, see the deals, and even a little avatar who can explain to you what is the product. And you have also the filters. So with Graffiti, it's actually very easy for brands. They can generate a QR code that will help them meet the consumer new expectation for information and transparency, and offer them smooth experience, consistent experience from online to offline. Now for the business model, we are actually charging 99 euros per store per month, and there is 16 million stores worldwide. So we are a small team, 3 people, 9 people, 3 co-founders coming from very different backgrounds. My 2 co-founders are coming from the gaming industry, and we are very different, but we have the same vision. We know that market opportunities are huge, so that we have to think big, to start small, and to go fast. So if you want to ask me any question, thank you.
Thank you so much. And we're starting with the questions. Dear jury, you have a microphone for all of you. And that was the sound all the others have to be afraid of. Cansu, would you like to be first?
Okay, yeah. I can ask you a quick question about the user experience part of it. How are you planning to get the feedback, like the ratings and the comments from the users? Like, they are going to have any grants for doing it? Or is it like just like Google Maps, they are going to just go and comment and rate?
Actually, we are connected with the data sending by the brands themselves. So the user right now cannot interact. They cannot suggest ratings directly in stores, but they can connect online to add comments and so on. Yeah, it could be a next step actually to interact directly on the stores. Yes.
Thank you so much. How many stores have you partnered with thus far? Where are you at?
Yes.
Walk me through users.
Yeah, actually, we are really early stage, and we are just jumping from an R&D organization to a business one. We have just signed Deutsche Telekom in June, so it's like 3 months ago, and we are currently working. We are French, so we are currently working with L'Oréal to try to do something with them, with Carrefour also, which is a big retailer. And we also work with really little brands of cosmetics to try and have many feedbacks from them.
Okay.
Thanks for the presentation. I wasn't clear who you're selling to. Yeah. Is it telcos sponsoring the distribution?
Oh no. Yeah, we are actually selling to brands to allow them.
Not the stores.
Yeah. Also, sometimes it's easier we are looking for testing brands and retailers, brands and stores. Because when you are a brand actually, and when you are in store, you cannot have information about what your consumer is looking at, what he wants to do, what he really liked about your brand and so on. So, but you know that when you are online, when you are at the NDB or an online brand. So for a brand, it could be very useful for them to get some information from the behavior of their consumers in store. But it could be also very important for the retailers because most of them have an app, and we could have an SDK to put in their app to work on the full experience of having data from the user, from privacy because they have their own app, and from behavior in store. So,
right, I was trying to, because selling to fashion brands like L'Oréal's and others is a separate sales effort than selling to each store. Because you said 16 million stores and 99 euros each. So selling to store by store and offering sort of sub-segment solution.
No, actually, when I say stores, we don't sell stores by stores. The retailers are huge, and most of them have many stores, and they are their own app. So the way we sell is a little bit different if it's a retailer or if it's a brand. But the effort is just the same. It's just providing a tool that allows them to see the consumer behavior in store. It's always the same tool, it's always the same data, it's always the same functionment, the way we do it, but actually for a retailer it would be much more interesting for them to have SDK in their own app, and for a brand just to get what is interesting for their consumer in store. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
We still have time for one more question.
Okay, I want to ask one last question. Do you have any competitors? Have you done any competitive analysis before?
Actually, with that kind of function, no. But we have many. We are surrounded with people who are trying to improve the experience in store, because for brands and for retailers, having the same smooth experience and duplicate an online and an offline experience is a key, is something that they call omnichannel and so on. So yeah, it's very important. But
thank you.
No many.
Thank you so much. Your applause to Marie.
Thank you.
Please. Yes, thank you. No worries. All right. So how is the audience? We are warming up, right? Yes, let's go. Amber from Catalyst.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Amber French, and I am one of the co-founders of Catalyst Entertainment Technology. Location-based entertainment operators have a big problem. They need to cater to a variety of market segments who want to be entertained completely differently, but OEMs typically only offer a single experience operators. So they're forced to buy, if you look at this, for example, this Angry Birds arcade, it will only ever be an Angry Birds arcade. They're forced to buy single-purpose hardware that delivers single experiences to a limited market. All right, sorry, I'm having some... Traditionally, operators solve for this by purchasing a large inventory of single-use games and then rotating them out when the next big thing hits the market. Just ask Dave & Buster's, who as of January have $298 million tied up in gaming equipment. To top all that off, LBEs need to constantly be upping their technology game to give people a reason to leave their homes. First we had arcades, then everyone had at-home systems. VR used to be complicated, and now everyone who wants one typically has a headset at home. We believe the next evolution in location-based entertainment is a fully integrated motion platform that offers one-to-many experiences. And that's what we've created. Catalyst Entertainment Technology is building a tech stack that will power a new form of content delivery as a platform, not just as a single experience hardware. You'll see in the video a fully autonomous platform that's capable of delivering either a free roam drive style experience or ride style experience. Our proprietary stack allows us to crush current limitations of virtual reality location-based. There are no physical boundaries, integration at full speed, no noticeable latency, and we've also have asynchronous start times, which has helped to solve for some of the traditional throughput issues. We knew that if we were going to build a stack that was capable of doing all of this, we would truly be building the future of fun. And the great thing about this stack is that it's also applicable to the more traditional walking style games as well, which make this a true content platform play. The location-based entertainment market is large and it's growing rapidly. It's being led by LBE VR, which is growing at a CAGR of 44%. And as the tech continues to get better and the experiences get better, I believe this is really just scratching the surface of what the market is going to be in the future. It's going to be big. We see our go-to-market happening in 3 different phases. Initially, we're going to be opening up our own bespoke locations in Q2 of next year. We thought we were actually going to have to operate these ourselves, but we've been in, just started negotiations with a major brand partner who's interested in us from a fan engagement perspective. Sorry about that. Who's interested in us from a fan engagement perspective, and we're also starting some negotiations with some potential franchise partners. Once the unit economics have been proven out, we're going to launch our global franchise strategy as our first layer of scale. And after that, once we've tightened up the BOM, we've actually discovered that there's a robust license market for existing family entertainment centers to be one of their future activations. The model is very similar to a Sandbox VR, Dreamscape zero latency, where we take a percentage of revenue from franchises, but we also have the built-in bespoke brand activations and the licenses as well. And as you can imagine, I think I need to change that in my presentation there. But as you can imagine, once we open up more locations, it really lends itself to Web3 and esports applications. Imagine multiple locations playing against each other with persistent leaderboards. Imagine utility-based NFTs enabling better... That's disappointing. But anyways, and just to think about the creator economy as well. Create something at home, your own experience, and then bring it in and try it actually yourselves. So competition-wise, we have the incumbents like Dave & Buster's and Chuck E. Cheese. We've talked about some of the problems with their model right now. They're set to get harder with the rising cost of capital as well. Disruptors are interesting, but right now they're limited to walking-based games, so it's just human motion only. They're leaving an entire market of vehicular-based gameplay on the table, so anything involving cars, tanks, spaceships, rockets, whatever you want to do, that's something that we're going to be able to provide. I think I'm going to run out of time here because of this. I'm sorry. My thing's not lining up. We'll go to the team slide. So this is where we actually really shine. So as awkward as I was up on stage today, this is not my first rodeo. We're all serial founders. Curtis has started a global leader in traffic and data analytics company called MyoVision. He and I actually own 2 other businesses together. We've co-founded. This is business number 3. Our third co-founder, Pat, was the former VP of a company called Swift Labs. So he's our expert in certifications, hardware, and sales. Traction so far, so we actually closed a $2.2 million round back in December of this past year. It allowed us to hire out our core team of 10. We've been really lucky to attract some industry experts into our group. So we have mechatronics folks, systems architects, game designers, and artists. Yeah, that's okay. Sorry about that.
Maybe an
everybody.
applause? All right. Thank you so much. We're opening the floor to the questions. Hey, please.
Thank you. That was really awesome. Obviously, mentioning Sandbox, is there a world in which there is also an integration there too?
Absolutely.
Are you exploring any of those partnerships right now, rather than leading yourselves and having to do all that heavy lifting?
Yeah, so we actually just got connected in with some of the folks at Sandbox. So we do, even though they're a competitor in the traditional sense where somebody's going to be spending dollars at one of these location-based spaces, we actually see them as very complementary to what we're doing right now. So it would be very easy to port some of their experiences into a new kind of way to leverage the storytelling into a different way, vehicular-based.
I want to ask about your business plan, in which locations, like which scope you want to start with.
Yeah, so right now we're trying to get to market as capital efficiently as possible. And so right now the two easiest strategies are either partnering with a major brand. So we're in negotiations right now with one of the major racing tracks. So you can think about like a NASCAR Formula One, Porsche Super Cup. So they're interested in us creating these pop-up events as we kind of leverage through their track experiences. The other way that we can go to market, we've been in negotiation with a large family entertainment operator who's based in the US. So I'm Canadian. It's a small market, so that's not where we're going to be launching. But so they have flagship locations in some major US centers like LA and New York. So they're another person who we're in active negotiations with.
Thank you. So we have some battle scars in the sector.
Yes.
And again, you can completely ignore everything I'm going to say. My advice is not to do your own franchise locations.
Okay.
And first of all, there's no VC interest for that. It tends to be very operational, heavy.
Yes.
And throughput is really important. You have
Absolutely.
to have throughput. And then you have brand new devices coming out the market, little carts. So what's unforeseen is really the maintenance of them and unexpected. So my suggestion for you can completely ignore, but just to learn the licensing model and
Yes.
really have the devices baked and fine-tuned in terms of throughput, maintenance before session, during session, after session, and failure rates and all that. And then you might think about opening your franchise.
Absolutely.
But almost like 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 2, and then 3.
Yeah, and I would totally agree. And as to the point for maintenance, we're trying to make the vehicles as modular as possible. So we're headset agnostic at this point, swapping out batteries as the tech gets better. We're trying to bake this all into how the machines are set up initially. So to make it easier for the franchisees or the licensees once we launch. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, dear jury. And we're off to the third presenter, Adam from Overcome.
My name's Adam Hutchinson. I'm a second-time founder, and I'm here to present Overcome. When I was 16, I was really shy and insular. I quit school to go and work on a farm just to avoid social situations altogether. I was diagnosed with social anxiety, which is one of many anxiety disorders that requires treatment in order to overcome it. 18.1% of the world's population have an anxiety disorder, like I had. Many suffer in silence. 80% of which receive no treatment whatsoever. And this is what's commonly referred to as the treatment gap, and consists of 87 million people in the United States alone with one of these conditions that doesn't get treatment. They don't get treatment for 4 reasons. 1, current traditional treatment is expensive. It's hard to access due to location. There's a stigma, particularly for men, and there are just a lack of trained psychologists right now. Anxiety disorders don't go away either. In fact, there's some pretty significant consequences downstream. The research shows there's a 2 to 3 times higher chance of developing a more serious condition like alcoholism, drug use, and even suicide as a result of leaving an anxiety disorder untreated. Current treatment is what's called exposure therapy. I go to my psychologist and I do exposure therapy, the gradual exposure to what it is that I'm avoiding. The research shows that in 90% of cases, it'll have a significant reduction in anxiety. So in March 2020, I set about solving this problem. I really wanted to understand it in detail. If there's an effective treatment, why is there a treatment gap? I put together a team of clinical psychologists around the world, business people, the former Vice President of Walmart Health, Marcus Osborne, as an advisor, and engineers that came over from my previous startup that I had that was acquired. And we set out with this challenge. How can we make treatment for anxiety disorders easier to access? It took some time, but in February last year, we launched Overcome, a direct-to-consumer smartphone app that provides virtual reality exposure therapy to children and adults with anxiety disorders. Here's how it works. Someone downloads Overcome to their smartphone. They go through 2.5 hours of cognitive behavioural therapy built by our team of clinical psychologists. At that time, the Overcome headset has arrived in their mail through our integration with DHL. They put their smartphone into the headset. They start their virtual reality exposure therapy. If they are seeing a therapist, that therapist can connect in real time into the VR session through an online dashboard. All the while, we're capturing data, and through AI, we're able to personalise their treatment and improve their outcomes. We collect data, and we have a big library of over 1,000 environments that we use in order to personalise their treatment as part of their outcome. Here's some of the VR. Not only that, by accessing the smartphone, we're able to offer exposure therapy more often than traditional therapy. So we're having greater outcomes. So the big question that's probably in your mind is, does it work? And I've faced this a lot. So about 3 months after launching our beta version, we started a clinical trial with the University of Otago. And within 48 hours of putting the call for registrations out, we had 350 registrations, of which the university went through and chose 126 between 18 and 64. Average age, the average length of time they had their phobia was 26 years. The results were outstanding. At baseline, 28.7 on a scale of 0 to 40. After 6 weeks of treatment with Overcome, we had on average a 75% reduction in severity. We got a lot of attention recently. This was published around 2 months ago. 2 weeks ago, we signed a pilot with the NHS in the UK to start a pilot with Overcome. If we go back to those 4 reasons, 1, in terms of current treatment being expensive, Overcome is 1/28th the cost. Our integration allows treatment all over the world. In terms of stigma, it's done in the privacy of their own home. And in terms of lack of trained psychologists, Overcome is completely scalable. Distribution channel, direct to consumer, B2B2C, and also B2B. We've made 600 sales of our beta version across 30 different countries. What's our competitive advantage? Data. We capture a lot of data and we use it to personalise the treatment. We have 2 goals: provide low-cost, clinically proven behavioural health care at scale, use data to optimise the treatment and build our IP position. Why now? Growing shortage of psychologists, devices extremely capable of delivering good VR, unprecedented levels of anxiety around the world, and a treatment gap that's getting bigger by the day. We've raised $1 million to grow our treatments into other areas, which we're doing now and launching on the 1st of December. Ladies and gentlemen, we know VR, we know mental health treatment, and we know scale. We have an opportunity to solve the greatest threat to humanity today, anxiety, and it's called Overcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we're opening the floor to the questions.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a bit quick, so I couldn't understand the
sure.
go-to-market part. Actually, the user interface part. So,
Yep.
for example, if I have anxiety for something, and if I get your product,
Yes.
I would say, how am I gonna know what I need actually?
Yeah, so we collect a lot of data up front. So our clinical psychologists have devised some surveys. So we understand what your triggers are, we understand what your severity is, and that forms part of the data. And through the machine learning algorithms, that helps personalise the treatment. So as a user, you answer some questions, and then we do all the heavy lifting in the background under the hood.
Okay, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great job.
Thank you.
How do you account for cultural varieties in terms of dealing with anxiety?
Yeah, great question. And it comes back to the data. So we do capture data up front, and we're moving more into understanding more about the cultural factors. So the bigger our VR library grows, the more harder our algorithms can work to start to bring those cultural elements into the VR. So basically, if someone from a different country goes through their treatment program, it's most likely to have the relevant VR content for their culture, which leads to better health outcomes.
The messaging has to be different in different countries.
Yeah, in terms of language, so we're in English.
Language and messaging.
Yeah.
Stigma associated
Yeah, and in terms of the stigma, because it's done at home, that's sort of the first hurdle. But in terms of the adaptation of the treatment, that comes down to the data. So using data to personalise the treatment based on cultural factors, for example, one of many.
Hi, yes, great job. You mentioned sort of the partnership with the NHS.
Yeah.
Really curious about how you're integrating with EHRs. I mean, that seems like a mammoth job.
Yeah, and that's part of our enterprise program. Right now it's a standoff pilot. That means that we're completely in a silo. So they basically bring the people, and that particular pilot is around children with autism that are struggling to go into hospital environments. There's a lot of anxiety. They also have social anxiety and needle phobia. So by being able to do a program at home, they're able to actually sort of overcome and desensitise themselves to those hospital environments. So I've actually been filming 2 weeks ago with the NHS all of those different environments. So.
And is the doctor taking additional time to be able to monitor their progress, provide
No, they don't have to.
asynchronous
No,
feedback?
they don't have to, because all of that is done in the program. So basically we're preparing all these people prior to going into the hospital so they feel more comfortable, because the way it works right now is that the doctors have to take some time in order to help these people through. But all of this treatment is done at home before they actually arrive into the hospital environment, so they're ready to go. So it's actually saving the doctor's time.
My last question would be like, sometimes it's challenging because like, if you have any disorders or like anxiety or something, you can even manipulate yourself and the doctor. This is why sometimes eye-to-eye treatment is very important. So when they are using your device, do you think it's gonna be, I would say like challenge, because even the doctor can like use the same technology, they cannot see how you are behaving, how you are actually responding.
Right now the system's broken. We know that 80% of people aren't even going seeking that treatment, and for those that are, it's incredibly successful. But what we're trying to target is those people that aren't going into a psychologist and aren't getting that treatment anyway. So there's a massive group of people that just aren't getting those benefits. So what we want to do is address that market and provide technology that we've replicated off the in-clinic experience, but make it scalable. You can't scale that treatment, you can scale this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We still have time for a question if there is one.
Yeah, one more question. You had 127 participants in that study. Anything shock you in terms of results?
Yep. So there was this massive pocket of anxiety around flying. 68% of all of the registrations for our phobias were fear of flying, and this was generally because people were locked down, they weren't flying, and it was incredible. Air New Zealand heard about this and supplied a plane and a crew so that we could really get good content in order for the clinical trial. We've actually now signed them up as a channel partner as well. But the amount of anxiety around flying at the moment is incredible. We had one of our greatest outcomes was for fear of flying, as well as needles and spiders as well. And just if I can just touch a little bit further on that. So a way for us to increase the anxiety around that flying content, because sometimes it's hard to actually create those turbulence environments, which people actually need to feel in order to overcome it. We've done mixed reality. So basically green screen people into it. And we've also recorded more audio of pilots so that the anxiety they feel is actually greater. So we've had to adapt a little bit, but the results that we've been getting from fear of flying, it's been amazing. But thank you.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. While I have the full room here, I would like to remind you of two important things. First, at 1:15, right upstairs, there will be networking opportunity for investors and startups, so stop by. And now the Startup to Watch Awards are going to be at 4:15. And now please meet Annie from Cross Creators.
Hello. My name is Annie, co-founder and CEO of Cross Creators. We simplify AR content creation for brands. You all know that augmented reality has already changed the world of marketing. But being in advertising business for more than 13 years now showed me that there are plenty of challenges in AR content creation, especially for SMBs. 8 out of 10 brands lack resources to adopt AR. That's why we decided to launch Marketplace, where united fragmented bits of creation process into a single product where brands can get AR content from ideation to creation. And they can also buy ready-made yet customizable templates. And these are successful campaigns done through Cross Creators. We make money through commission of 30%, and we target the $18 billion market dollar opportunity. These are SMBs from European and CIS countries. We target these countries because we know the market and they have the opportunity to match with our solution. Our go-to-market strategy lies on making marketing agencies our allies. We mark our competition as freelance and AR marketplaces, but unlike them, we allow SMBs to get AR content 60% cheaper and 3 times faster, and this is what our customers say. This is my co-founder. He's from Ukraine. Sadly, he's not here. We have been working together on blockchain-related projects lately. We remained friends, but we united because we know that AR is the future for marketing. What we have done so far is that we already have secured $250,000. We have built creators community of 2,000. We have 700 paying customers, and this is without paid advertising. We have 15 partnerships in place, and we are soon raising our round. And if you want to augment reality with us, let's talk. Actually, this anxiety solution needs to be like prepared for pitching sessions because I have a lot of anxiety right now.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you.
Thank you. This is really interesting. One thing you haven't mentioned was around the monetization for the creators, which, as we know, it's been notoriously hard.
Yeah.
How much of that is a focus here? How are you interacting with your creators? How do you build this product with them?
So as we started with creators, we started to build community first rather than product. So we all know that they have the problem in monetization. That's why we decided to build AR stock solution for them to get passive income. Our take rate is just 30%, and they set up on their prices. So these freelancers are able to work whenever they want, with whom they want. So we are providing this solution.
And one other thing is tool and a marketplace?
It's a marketplace plus Shutterstock like AR stock, but for augmented reality. So you can buy ready-made yet customizable templates, and mainly for social media campaigns.
Okay, similar to like a Canva, but for AR.
Not so much. Yeah,
Okay,
Canva is like
less.
do-it-yourself tool.
Okay.
But we are providing more like Shutterstock solution. So whenever you are a creator or a brand has internal resources to create a community, you can go there and buy ready-made template or codes, which you can use in different kind of experiences.
Thank you, first of all. From scalability point of view, are you planning to like sell it, or I would say like your persona could be only like individual like influencers or agencies, or are you planning to like do you have any other scope, like is it only limited to influencers and agencies?
Actually, we do have partnerships with agencies who don't have internal resources to adopt AR and create these experiences. But our direct buyer personas are marketing teams from SMBs. So they don't have internal resources, and they are hiring per project these creators.
Just maybe expanding on that, thank you. How do you know, marketplace implies robust supply-demand dynamics.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that? How do you scale it and it'll make it dynamic and active?
So I was kind of like lucky because I'm in advertising for more than 13 years. So before building products, we started communication with brands and creators beforehand. So we started with building community with creators, and they are also like really happy to be featured on Cross Creators because we started to work with top tier creators first. So whenever they know that top tier creators are with us, they are more than happy to register on Cross Creators rather than just some other platforms. And we're not doing any marketing campaigns rather than just making content for them.
Yeah, I was trying to understand. I think there's a metrics that I don't know, like for each potential customer, you need X many like service provider.
Sure.
Right? So that the customer has some perceived choice, and then so do you know what those numbers should be?
Actually, to be secure, we already have 2,000 creators, but 700 paying customers. So it's like not overlapping, but we know that creators must be more rather than just buyers. So creators community is quite big, but we also want to vet them, and we're vetting them. So we're not losing quality and by making them accessible. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ani. All right, let's go to our next pitch, which is going to be Nevermeet. Come, let's meet him on stage. Let him connect real quickly. How's it going? We're on the equator, so stay with us. I don't know if it's enough air. I'm not getting any. You're taking all. Okay, let's start.
Excellent. I'm HDMI connected. Voila. Hello, everyone. My name is Cam Mullen. I'm the CEO of Nevermet. Nevermet is the #1 dating app for the metaverse. We believe that people can form meaningful relationships in the metaverse. We believe that VR and avatars can actually strip us of superficialities and physical limitations that are holding back human connection. We believe that we're going to serve billions of users in the next few years. And I'll tell you a little bit more, starting with how people are meeting today. Everyone's meeting online. It's the new normal. Almost 50% of couples now that meet are meeting on dating apps. And this has made Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Grindr, these apps billion-dollar businesses. And at the same time, people are now dating in the metaverse, in VR chat and Horizon and Roblox, you name it. There's dating going on. And if you're an active participant, you know it. It's like a huge part of the culture there is dating online. And yet, the dating apps I just mentioned don't work for the metaverse. They're all based around your IRL personality, your IRL identity. But in the metaverse, you have a pseudonym, and you have maybe an alter ego, or you role play. The apps I described connect you to people nearby. But in VR, it doesn't matter as much whether you're 2 miles or 200 miles away from your partner. It feels like you're there. These apps are also more superficial. You're making split-second decisions based off how someone looks. Whereas in virtual reality, you have complete control over that. And so it doesn't matter necessarily what you look like in the physical world. So that's why we built Nevermet, a dating app designed for the metaverse, where you can be exactly who you want to be and go on virtual reality metaverse dates that are out of this world. We launched about 6 months ago on Valentine's Day, and now we're the #1 metaverse dating app. We have the most active users. We're about to hit 1 million matches, and we are constantly growing. We've been written about in the New York Times, GQ, Forbes, Fortune, and we're really excited, and yet this is just the beginning. I'll show you a quick demo how it works. So users create profiles of their avatar on our mobile app. These are Horizon users. So you upload photos or videos of your avatar, you filter for what you're looking for, and you swipe. And if you match, then you can start a conversation and plan a date in the metaverse. So you say, hey, there's a club tonight. I'd love to invite you to come with me in VR chat. You meet up, and you get to go on these out-of-these-world dates, building, playing games, cuddling, watching movies, dancing, anything you can do in VR, you can do with a partner. And these relationships are real, even though the worlds are virtual. I want to be clear that we're an inter-metaverse matchmaker. So people make profiles from VR chat or Horizon or Memoji or any of these avatar communities. They match, and then they go on dates in any of these metaverses. So we're agnostic to where you came from or what date you go on. And we're that inter-metaverse matchmaker. And so we work collaboratively with these big metaverses. We're currently generating about $250,000 in ARR from premium users paying for more swipes. And yet the big money here, we believe, is actually from commissions. our users match, and they're looking for dates, they're looking for things to do, and there are tons of apps and metaverses and worlds that want to buy more users and want them to come visit. So the big money here will be us selling dates and directing users to amazing third-party experiences and taking a commission along the way, like an affiliate model. We have world-class retention. Our users stick around. A third of them use the app 7 days a week. My background is in growing startups. The last two I grew were acquired by Ford and Square. My co-founder is a magician, software engineer and we met at a coding boot camp to learn how to make VR apps. He was the professor of the course, so we complement each other. I close with a quick note about how the way we meet and date is evolving. In the past, we would meet people in the physical world, and then we'd go on dates in the physical world. These days, we're meeting people in a digital world, and we're going on dates still in the physical world. But in the future, we're going to continue to meet people in the digital world and then go on more digital dates together, spending quality time together. We are Never Met, the #1 dating app for the metaverse, and this is only the beginning. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd welcome questions.
Thank you. It was really interesting. So my question is, how is it gonna be the avatar creation part? Like, is it possible if I use another tool for creating my own avatar and then integrate it to the system, or?
Yeah. So today, the way our app works is users upload videos or pictures of their avatars, and they can take in-game pictures from Horizon, from VR Chat, from Zepeto, from any metaverse community. So yeah, right now you upload pictures, but in the future, we'll be able to make that even more seamless.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was really interesting. Congrats on all the progress thus far. Would be really curious about your unique insights around customer acquisition, user acquisition.
So, good question. Our most effective channels include buying billboards in virtual worlds. So we make partnerships with VR Chat world creators and put posters in their worlds. We have influencers with influencer marketing is a effective channel for us, working with creators. If you ever search VR Chat on TikTok or Zepeto on TikTok, you'll see this wild world of like TikTokers doing dances, but they're all virtual, or doing kind of trends, but as virtual beings. And so they've been great partners to help us drive more users.
Got it. And just a quick question. It's not all romance. It could also be finding friends, I'm assuming, also with that retention. It's quite interesting.
A feature coming out next week is the official Just Looking for Friends.
Cool. Awesome.
Cam, on the competition side, obviously you have emerging ones like Planet Data and Pillow Talk. And also, are you concerned that VR Chat or the platforms could undermine you by offering similar capabilities on their platform?
So I'm not familiar with the second competitor you mentioned. The first one you mentioned, I don't think has a product that's launched yet, so it's hard to kind of comment on those competitors specifically. I think that when it comes to platforms like VR Chat or Horizon making a dating app, potentially they could create something like that. But what we see is about 60% of our users are in at least 2 communities, and they're in VR Chat and Rec Room and Horizon or Zepeto or Imvu, and so really like we have the ability to have a user have an identity that spans across these. They might spend an hour a week in this app and an hour a week in that app. And so really we believe there needs to be that third party that can actually integrate multiple accounts and your Discord account to actually kind of have a unified experience, because when people date in VR Chat, they might also date in Horizon or another world. So we'll see what happens though. This is the first inning. I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be chomping after this market.
Are there any age restrictions at this point?
Good question. We are 18 plus, and so we are the only metaverse dating app that has a government ID scan system to verify a user's age, and so yeah, it's 18 plus.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Cam. All right. How are we doing? Well, the next startup I'm going to present is called Uhula. Eugene, please take the stage.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Eugene Ntota, and we are bringing forth Rewake all the way from South Africa. So I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Uhula. So what Rewake is a swarm intelligence augmented reality stroke rehabilitation system. Basically, the common problem that we're all facing is that 1 in 4 of us can potentially have a stroke. And that is based on the World Stroke Day campaign. And the biggest key problems that we have currently identified is that it is extremely or excruciatingly painful to get back to a normal quality of life. Most often, a lot of people also come up with a lot of misdiagnosis, and the extreme high cost within the first year can average about $70 in just getting proper out care or in-care patient treatment. And there's also a limitation in all of the rehabilitation facilities globally. Basically, this is what swarm intelligence does. It is a new artificial umbrella, whereas there is no centralized spider web controlling all of that medical data. So all of the occupational therapists can actually cross-pollinate with the real-time artificial intelligence engine without sharing any confidential patient data or any confidential medical data throughout a global collaboration in order to improve the after-all stroke care. So our solution is very simple. It is a mobile unit that you can plug into any high-definition or 4K TV, and it comes with a lightweight microcontroller, and every single thing feeds directly from cloud, whereas you can do, this is our product. It comes in 2 segments, whereas we focus strictly on doing tele-rehabilitation assistance and artificial real-time digital assistance, whereas a occupational therapist can actually tele-advise a stroke care patient that is doing a outpatient call, or whereas in real time they can assist them as they are actually getting that much needed artificial intelligence data and on how to assist them in terms of improving their stroke care quality assistance. Unfortunately, the video is not running. Apologies for that, but you should have been able to see the qualified occupational therapists walking through a telemedicine assistance or a real-time artificial intelligence assistance as they are actually helping them as part of their daily stroke care rehabilitation programs. This is part of our team. We are currently at a stage where we're still doing a lot of work with the medical universities in South Africa and with the local associations in terms of getting all of that much needed clinical trialing and getting every single thing to be approved. So currently we are focusing on targeting the virtual rehabilitation market opportunity. So it is expected to actually rise at an estimated 9%. And you can clearly see that we are in the right zone, whereas we are targeting the East Asia markets, the North American markets, and the European markets in order to slowly push up in the other regions where I feel as if the stroke care market could use augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and swarm intelligence as a complete combination. Basically, based on the drug class information, the most common neurorehabilitation issue has been brain strokes, and that often leads to morbidity, especially with your physical responses, quality of life, how you engage with people, how you talk, and how you basically do your general daily activities. So imagine how tough it is to actually come back after a stroke to just slice your bread, or to just do basics like combing your hair, or to just have a simple conversation after you've been hit with a $70,000 US bill on medical expenses as well. So our business model is very simple, whereas we are targeting key partners that are based on cloud development and on a platform as a service. Then we have worked with a few official prototyping units in terms of getting our units up. Basically, we are focused on splitting it up between stroke care, rehabilitation centers, stroke patients, occupational... Oops, so sorry.
Eugene, but don't worry, I'm pretty sure whatever you didn't cover will come now as a question. Dear jury.
Thank you for it. Could you tell us about your competitors?
Awesome. Basically, the three targets are based on looking at traditional occupational therapists and what is currently available out there on the market. Whereas most of these units, they're very heavy, they're very messy, cabley, cumbersome, and it takes a lot of technical experience to also get them up and running. Whereas our product is looking at just having a re-wake kit where you can just get off of the shelf. It can be purchased by universities, occupational therapists, or rehab stroke centers where you can just easily plug it on a 4K monitor, and then you are up and running. Because of most occupational therapists struggle in terms of doing in-care patient treatment, whereas they have to come with a lot of wires and cabling and all of that before they can start doing that quality and effective treatment. Whereas ours uses haptic technology through a glove to simulate in terms of giving that much needed weighted feedback, pulling all of that data, sending it to cloud, while a occupational therapist is there to also advise in terms of the scoring and where they need to work on. So that is where we are now bringing that synergy towards artificial intelligence, swarm intelligence, and stroke care.
Thank you.
Awesome use case. In terms of the business model and sort of selling dynamics, who are you targeting? Is it the hospitals themselves?
Yes. So basically, we are targeting the hospitals, and we are targeting the occupational therapy global community, because that's where now artificial intelligence allows it to be much more efficient. Because if you could have a particular case where you've got somebody who's in South America who needs additional training or who needs additional medical advice, that is where that much needed occupational community now comes onto our platform, whereas they can share that medical experience in terms of actually improving somebody's life from a remote location. So that now cuts down on traveling costs, especially if you're a patient who needs to fly all the way to America or Switzerland just to get additional therapy and training.
So the therapist would pay for it also?
100%.
Okay. What would be the cost?
Averagely, currently on the market, most of these systems are going at about $17,000. We are looking at selling this for less than $10,000 globally.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, just get some clarification around current development. So where are you at right now, time to market, etc.?
Okay. Basically, we are still in the prototyping and building all of the clinical trials and medical data. So I could say we're about 30 months away from having a commercially viable product due to the FDA approvals, because we've got more of a global approach in terms of getting the FDA approvals and so forth.
1330, sorry.
I beg your pardon?
13 or 30 months, did you say?
Oh, 30 months.
Okay.
100.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Yes, thank you. We're off to the last 3 pitches, so stay with me. Please meet Melody from Patch XR.
Hello. So, starting? Yeah. So, what is the future of music? Is it Travis Scott in Fortnite? Is it Lil Nas in Roblox? Or is it Billie Eilish, who apparently was the only one who got it right? Well, I'm sorry for the bad news, but all what we've seen so far is pre-recorded, highly processed, post-processed, with a lot of special effect recording where you press play and the show starts. But isn't music as a collective human experience so much more than that? Hi, I'm Melody, and I'm co-founder of Patch-XR. We're building a metaverse music creator. Our tool, our vision is radical. Our technology is really powerful, and our product is super, super playful. I don't know if you've seen it on the playground. If you haven't, I will highly recommend you go. Yesterday, Ori, everyone knows Ori, CEO and founder of this conference, went and tried for the first time Patch World. Not only had a blast, but he came to me and said, wow, I was waiting for something like this since the beginning. And Ori's been doing, and in this industry, since 2007. So just, think what I'm talking about. And he's not the only one to think and to say that. So our users, just read what they say. They are using our app about 30 minutes per day since we released. And they love it. They couldn't be happier. We only released in July 7th. And yes, we've been rated 4.7 stars. We are one of the 20th most sold app on store. And we haven't even started marketing. Since the beginning, we've generated about almost 1 million with partnership with some of the top leaders in the industry, Meta, Qualcomm, and Pico. And why? Just because they need us. They need us to give meaning to this industry because we can bring passion, we can bring communities.
Hello.
So I want to show you something.
And I am one of the American voices of the Voice Reader Studio. I am delighted that you are interested in me. I'm going to text your mind and help you find training documents, traffic information, audio books and videos. I am very flexible. I can speak more slowly if you need me to, but more quickly if you want to hear.
So this what we've seen here is one of our users who is spending about 100 hours a week beside his job building this kind of instrument. This is built 100% in virtual reality, hundreds of hours cabling. And he has not made just one vocoder. He's made like about 50 professional sounding instruments. And now I'm showing you something else, another user.
Okay, all right, okay, all right, okay. Hey, let's do this, come on. You better believe it when I'm coming through, I'm coming strong. I don't know why you're talking about us taking all day long. You wanna blah your mouth with me? I don't know why you think you can do it, my name is G.
Yeah, so we've built the most powerful sound engine and the entire metaverse ecosystem to create musical world, play music, build virtual concert or attend virtual concerts, and soon to jam with friends. Basically, everything you can imagine about the real world and music, we can do in Patch World, but we can do so much more. Yeah. This is how it looks like today. So the creators, the fastest growing demographics, which are the bedroom creators, actually have no way today to get into the metaverse. So on one hand, you have these pro studios for famous people like superstars. They cost a fortune, totally not accessible. And then you have music games like Beat Saber. The closest one to us could be like Virtuoso, but people from Virtuoso come to Patch World because they love it. They love to play music in this field, but they're limited. So basically, we have a huge market opportunity here to attract millions of creators to come and play with us. And because we're not just a creative tool, but we can host the entire industry. It's too late, but yeah, this can be really big. Oh my God, yeah. And we're an amazing team. We can really make this happen.
Thank you, Melody. I'm pretty sure you will still have a chance to answer the questions that will lead you to more intricacies about the business.
That was really great, and congrats on all the traction thus far. Curious about what you think is going to be the largest use case for Patch-XR. So you mentioned sort of the virtual performances, concerts. Is this also something that could also replace like a social experience, like a VR chat per se? You come in with your friends.
Yeah.
What do you think is the main use case?
So, I think as soon, I mean, right now, you know, it's like we're having really good feedback and everything, but you're still alone in your creative space. Like this winter, like for Christmas, we're hoping to release the social and multiplayer platform, and we really think that's gonna go wild, because I mean, also like internally with our user cluster, we already have the multiplayer in beta, and it's so much fun. And when you see behavior in Rec Room and in VR chat, and with very little to do, in fact, when you have such an interactive environment like we do, we cannot predict, but we have really good hope that that's going to be the biggest use case and can go very wild.
My question would be like for the long run, or maybe like in the future, do you have any plans for making it interactive with other applications in the VR platform, such as like, I don't know, for example, this is like kind of creating a music or an experience, but can it be used in another platform or in other applications?
Yeah. Well, I didn't show the slide with like the monetization and stuff, but like next year we're gonna go with a freemium web viewer, and of course we want to go cross-platform, because from what we've learned with Rec Room and even Tribe XR, which is another example, I mean, most of the people performing in Tribe are using it in a social multiplayer platform. But we also want to be our own, just because the audio engine, most of these platforms don't have, you know, really good audio support. So, yeah.
Congrats, Melody. In terms of, if you look at the sort of the Gen Z and millennial behaviors, top two categories are gaming and music. And then when you look at the emerging platforms like Sandbox and Decentraland, they need content, they need activity, they, you know, frankly, they need music. And any partnership discussions with them?
We haven't started. I mean, we met them. There was some early discussion. I would imagine they would they need us as well, but this is not something we've been looking into yet. But eventually, you know, once once we've done that part for the product to be self-sufficient and self-growing and has all the virality element into the product, then we'll be looking into partnerships with other platforms like Sandbox.
My last question would be, how is your monetization plan? Like, how are you planning to do your revenue?
Yeah, so today it's $30 on the store, so on the MetaQuest store. That's just a flat fee. We're gonna start releasing new music packs soon, like in-app purchases. But then this is basically just like focusing on creator and casual player. We want to grow the audience as soon as we have the multiplayer and social feature, the audience with the free web viewer. So this will be for free. At the end of next year, we're hoping to have a prosumer, a pro, subscription that could be between 100 and 150 from the user questionnaire that we've had. So yeah, with more like of the, you know, building instrument and kind of thing. But where we're really going for is a UGC marketplace. So when we have the user and the viewer, let them monetize. So that will be in the next few years. But that's where we see scalability for sure.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Next coming up on stage is Ivan from Valkyrie.
Thank you. Good stuff. Hello, everyone. My name is Ivan. I'm CTO and co-founder of Valkyrie Industries. Today I'm going to talk to you about next generation of immersive fitness. Did you know that more than half of revenues of gyms coming from people who never go to gym? So members who don't go to gym, with more than a third of the whole global population not exercising enough, gyms are unsustainable. They're boring, they're far away, they're inefficient, not engaging. Workout at home that we all accepted during COVID times, still not engaging enough. You exercise in front of your screen, small screen. The Personal trainers are great, but they're expensive, and you depend on the time schedules. That is why we have created Valkyrie Air. This is all-in-one immersive home fitness platforms that combines two things: electrical muscle stimulation device in the form of elegant and very powerful armband, and a virtual reality workouts that are curated by world-class trainers that focusing specifically on training both your cardio for virtual reality and your strength using electrical muscle stimulation. So in the end, you have a virtual reality workout which is both efficient, engaging, fun, and trains your muscles. First in the world. This is a perfect time. As Marco said, tetherless headsets, Pico and MetaQuest allowed people to take headsets anywhere, make backflips using headsets. This, again, in turn allowed companies like Beat Saber and Les Mills and FitXR to appear and become more and more popular. We're next level. Immersive fitness on steroids, training your muscles while you exercise in virtual reality. How it works: when you grab a virtual object and you pull it, electrical muscle stimulation responds to your activities in virtual reality. So you either pull, push, hit, grab objects, and you feel it in your muscles. A lot of testers said that it's crazy workout. It's super intense, can be super intense. It actually trains your muscles. It's a great workout. We have several gyms and OEMs looking to partner with us on developing this. There are several competitors out there. They're either electrical muscle stimulation devices which are not immersive, so just sitting on your body without any engagement, or they're very bulky suits that are super expensive and no one can afford it. We're the only affordable, immersive, universal, and easy-to-use electrical muscle stimulation device for fitness for VR. We're focusing on two big markets: digital health and home fitness, which is growing, will grow to 150 billion in 5 years. Part of it is fitness equipment market, and currently we're focusing on only a tiny subset of it, of consumers who like fitness. And how we're gonna approach them. We're gonna sell directly the device to them for $200, and we have opened pre-orders this week, so you can order them yourself right now. We're gonna get 2 million. We're planning to get 2 million revenues in year one from direct sales and from a subscription model where you can get additional classes curated by fitness trainers. Late in 3 and 5 years, we're planning to get to 10 and 50 million dollars revenue respectively. But it's not the only direction. We have a patent of connecting electrical muscle stimulation and virtual reality for immersive EMS, and we're planning to license it to EMS manufacturers, to fitness, VR fitness games, and generate revenue from there as well, after the first consumers accept this device and tell about it to everyone. Currently, we're raising funds to run a Kickstarter campaign, run a marketing campaign, manufacture first 1,000 devices, and create partnerships with companies like Lululemon, David Lloyd, and others with whom we're already in conversations. We're planning to release it on MetaStore and on Pico Store, and it's already available on App Lab. We have a diverse team of product designers, marketers, specialists, software development, and wearable technology specialists as well. We have supported by key advisors in sports science, fitness. We have personal trainers with 25 years experience in personal trainers, one of the most expensive personal trainers in the UK, and innovation specialists. Thank you very much, and if you would like to try the device, we're in the booth 216, so please come over afterwards and get trained. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and please welcome questions.
Thank you, that was awesome. In terms of acquisition, I know you have a Kickstarter at the end of this year. How are you approaching that? How are you thinking about acquisition, customer acquisition?
Well, my Kickstarter now is slightly different, which was 5 years ago, but we're going to partner with marketing companies that help acquire paid ads. That's the usual direction. But of course, we want to partner with a lot of gym brands and fitness brands. This will be a big direction. And influencers, of course, as well, although they can be expensive as well.
I mean, I have a small comment and a question, of course. First, I mean, the headsets are a bit heavy, and when I'm thinking from the customer point of view, sometimes, I mean, it comes like it could be a challenge, not in a bad way maybe, but it could definitely challenge you because they are heavy, and when you're doing the sports or something, or an activity, maybe it would be too much to have something on your, I don't know, like, maybe on your head. But on the other way, I was gonna ask you, like, have you grouped the exercises? Like, do you have anything that, is it gonna be just like a basic fitness exercises that can be made at home, or can people take them outside and try it? Do you have any plans for the business?
Yeah, replying to your first comment, currently it's already pretty light. So you've seen people, we see people jumping, doing jump squats with a headset, and it's fine. People still happy. There's a lot of people doing Beat Saber, very quick movements, and there's very big community there. So even though it's a bit heavy right now, people already use it. A lot of people use it. Millions of people use it already. But in next few years, it will be much lighter. So more and more people will be able to use it. But you should try, and you would see it doesn't really bother you. Second question, yes, we actually we did some demos outside on the street. It's fine. If it's too bright, then Quest doesn't work very well at the moment. But if you have trees around, then it's perfect. You can train anywhere.
Thank you. If you were to choose one distribution partner and to really help you on the both hardware side and software side, who would that be?
Well, Amazon, probably. I don't know. Don't probably have an answer to this question right now.
And the pricing is $200 plus $5 a month, so $60 a year subscription cost. And what's the economic model for you?
Well, most of the revenue will be coming from margin. For 200, we have around 70% margin on the cost of manufacturing the device. $5, it's our initial. Our initial potential marketing monetization direction, but we're exploring others as well. So for probably $5, it will be a certain amount of exercises, but if people want to get more different specific muscle direction, then maybe there can be some additional in-game purchases.
Well, if you have that high margins for a brand new device, wouldn't you want to sort of forward price it? And instead of 200 do,
Good suggestion, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And we're coming to the final closing pitch from Lily. Please come on stage, Team Cinar.
Hi, everyone. Hi, my name is Lily, and I'm the founder and CEO of Cinar. We are a platform that will revolutionize virtual outfit creation, customization, wear and share to enable a global audience to take control of their virtual self-expression. And I really appreciate you're still here, so please hang on. Before we dive into my presentation, I want to tell you a little story of how I got to this stage, and that's not by walking up. It's actually about my background. I'm a scientist, but I decided to move into fashion design because I felt the need to express myself somehow. When I started dressing people in my designs, I saw that I'm becoming more than expressing my stories. I'm actually sharing my life with them. And I felt like it should be something they are also capable of. But obviously, making an outfit today is quite technical, even in its physical forms. Well, thankfully, when the digital kind of revolution started accelerating, sorry, this is the M slide, so close your eyes, don't think about that word. I think what important is the underlying behavior of users in the digital platforms that obviously we call overarchingly the metaverse. This slide is about how businesses are approaching these new platforms to engage with users, but I would like to walk you through a journey where individual creators are becoming actually the center of economies. So when I was trying to create solutions so other people can express themselves like I did, I was really, really happy to see that while physical fashion is quite negative in terms of sustainability and social impact, digital fashion has an opportunity to enable global audiences to express themselves, while it's also something that we're engaging on a day-to-day basis more and more. I believe that user-led economies is the future, and monetizing on their kind of creativity is something that could liberate us all. When you want to create those digital outfits today, it's quite technical, unfortunately, or it's really limited. If you enter a game platform, of course, they offer you some options, but you don't get too far with it, and you also stay in the platform. So I created a virtual reality experience 2 years ago, where I was playing with the idea of how you could engage with digital outfits. You could grow them with biodigital algorithms, so you can train them through interactive machine learning. When I was testing it with the university partner I was working at, people kept telling me, could you please do this as a commercially viable product so we can also be part of this and create our own self-expression every day. This is when Genera came to life. In Genera, you can create and customize virtual outfits without technical and fashion knowledge. It's an end-to-end user journey, and our goal is to enable you not just to create it and then take it somewhere else, but really truly experience sharing your creations, wearing it together with your friends. Our user journey has a lot of key points. One of them is becoming a generator, becoming part of our community. We want to empower our users and enable them to feel kind of stress-free and relaxed about creativity, because everyone is a creator in themselves. While in the digital studio, we reinvented how you interact with the digital design tools. And we also believe there was a wonderful panel yesterday about creators should be comfortable sharing their designs. I believe that by innovating how we create spatial spaces and enabling our friends to see these outfits will be one of those ways. So the community is what ties everything together. And now let's see a little video with some party music, because I think it's Friday. Well, I know it's Friday, actually. But the point is that I would like to share with you how easy it is and quick to create interactive, responsive, high-quality outfits in our platform. Of course, we are continuously developing it, so the user interface will get better. But the real deal is how we reappropriated the interactions that you can use in today's industrial fashion design software. The other key point of our product is that you can do it alone or you can do it with your friends. Collaborative co-design is something that people desperately want. They want to share their ideas. They want to bounce off ideas of each other and brainstorm. And as I mentioned, every interaction is really kind of catering that quick effect that you can express yourself, you can share your creation with your friends. Just to talk a little bit more about the universities, I'm in love with them. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I love research. And we work with a lot of universities to truly test our product and see how different levels of Gen Z kind of students are interacting with it. We are not obviously alone in this market, but I think our unique user journey with our key selling points of enabling single and multi-user sessions, as well as creative, high-quality freedom, and enabling our users to take the outfits to a number of different places is quite unique. I want to remove the barriers for users to play, so it's all free, but of course we will monetize eventually within application purchases, subscriptions, and then creator-led economy on our marketplace, taking commissions. This is a boring slide, so I'm gonna skip it, but to use my 8 seconds, I have a wonderful team. We combine gaming, metaverse, fashion, and creative entertainment knowledge to make this vision happen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lily. And dear jury, we're doing the final Q&A for this speech competition. Please start.
Okay. Thank you for it. It was a good presentation. My question was like, do you have any plans for any partnering in your roadmap?
Yes, well, that was the boring slide I skipped. Sorry about that. So we were talking a lot with different kind of fashion, gaming, and entertainment clients, from tiny ones to big ones, last year and this year. And what we noticed is that while they are really, really open to like solid partner with us and everything, they are afraid of taking that risk. So we actually found our best partners to launch in December, and they are emerging designers from universities, for example, where I went to, which is the world's best art and design university in the world. The interesting thing with emerging designers in this partnership is that they are open to bring other creators into their actual creative practice and like enable their practice to go to the next level by co-creating. This is an ego thing that often in fashion design is a really big problem, the lone genius. And by disrupting the models through this partnership, I think we can really show the examples of those big players we talked with, how they can evolve their services and further the connections to their audiences.
That was great on creators. What about the platforms themselves where you can wear the garments?
Very good, very good. Yes, so obviously the Easter egg or the elephant in the room is interoperability. Well, the thing what often people overlook is that actually the potential starts in our platform. And I would really like to maximize how users are benefiting by our shared experiences in platform first and foremost. Because if you think of all the games that you would like to wear these outfits, what do these games do? They have their own narratives. Well, why shouldn't we have our own narrative first and foremost? It's a non-lethal gamified experience. So first we will explore the potential of wearing the outfits and sharing them in our platform. How we will then distribute it, because obviously we would like you to wear your outfit in Paris, in London, and all kinds of cities, just like in all kinds of games. The most we can do at the moment is enable the automation of the creative kind of texture and all kinds of transfers onto game-ready assets, and like prepare our users to kind of like take them to other games using the pipelines. I'm sure you're all aware that these game pipelines are quite technical. They're really hard to use. Just have a think about the Ascension pipeline if you ever think about it. I always think about it. I have so many friends who just, I want an item in Ascension, and what should I do? So they went to a studio. The studio digitized their asset. They submitted it. It got rejected. And poor person was just like, what should I do now? So they had to restart the whole process. And often the B2B2C studios don't even take responsibility. So what we can do at the moment is at least prepare the assets properly and automate the process of like, moving the creativity that they inputted into our designs onto other assets. But then I'm really passionate about kind of going into a little bit that pipeline discussion. And of course, that cannot scale at the moment because there are so many platforms with their own pipelines. So what we are doing is we are strategically partnering with game platforms one by one, and we're going to break down how we could like automate a little bit more the processes. But I cannot tell you that we have solved it, because that would be like 15 years from now. We are trying, and what we want is really truly to like create your identity and take it to all platforms. So that's the best we can do at the moment.
Congrats, Lilia. Well, in terms of your sort of milestones, if you look ahead 6 to 9 months, where do you want to see and what you want to achieve?
Oh gosh, I want to change the word tomorrow. Maybe 6 months is okay as well. Right, well, we are launching in December. We already have quite an interesting internal community, and I cannot wait to see when it's a global access and everyone can kind of download it. So of course, 6 to 9 months will be like, how many users do we have? How much time they spend in the application, and do they actually come back to do it more and more? But besides that, we have quite an extensive roadmap that would have been another boring slide. So in a nutshell, we will launch a marketplace early next year, just because obviously we want to kind of like enable the creator economy to grow and grow. We will have a quite big Web3 integration, not because it's trendy like the metaverse word, it's because we want to protect the IP of our creators. And if they can mint the outfits as NFTs, at least it's authentic and tokenized, and then they can truly, truly own it and monetize on it. So that's an interesting thing. And by the time we get to 6 months, we will launch our virtual reality demo, because this is a UXR, so I should mention. The whole project started in VR, and it will go back to VR. Yesterday, in one of those interesting panel chats, they mentioned that creating in VR is one of the easiest things in the world, and we are 3D beings, so looking at a screen and trying to do something in 3D is quite controversial. So I'm very excited to go back to VR, not back, but going ahead with VR. There is a very big kind of strategy behind how we're gonna incentivize our alpha users, our strongest community members, to go and take the opportunity of wearing a headset, because you know that as much as it enables them, it also restricts them, because they need to buy to enter, they need to be in VR to experience it. We are very cautious about that, but personally, I'm the most excited about it in the next 6 to 9 months.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.